Xin chào tất cả các bạn. Hôm nay Nga rất là vui khi có cơ hội được trao đổi với luật sư Kate Kalmykov, co-chair của hãng luật Greenberg Traurig ở tại Mỹ, là một trong những hãng luật lớn, lâu đời và có rất nhiều kinh nghiệm về lĩnh vực di trú và đặc biệt là EB-5. Thì luật sư Kate Kalmykov có thể nói là đã có gần 20 năm kinh nghiệm trong lĩnh vực luật di trú nói chung và EB-5 nói riêng. Thì hôm nay trong chuyến thăm và làm việc tại Việt Nam thì rất là vui và rất là vinh dự khi mà Nga có cơ hội được trao đổi với cô Kate Kalmykov, cũng là một đối tác mà Nga có cơ hội làm việc cũng một vài năm rồi, để mà cùng trao đổi những cái thông tin hữu ích về EB-5 đối với các anh chị nhà đầu tư tại Việt Nam, cũng như là chia sẻ những cái kinh nghiệm để chúng ta lựa chọn và thực hiện một hồ sơ EB-5 thuận lợi. Hello, Kate. It's very nice meeting you today. My pleasure and my honor to have you here and to discuss about the EB-5. So you already in the business for a very long time, and up to now, I know that it's a lot, but do you think how many EB-5 cases have you been represented for Vietnamese investors so far, approximately?
So I filed my first Vietnamese EB-5 case in 2007. So it's been many, many hundreds of families in the thousands that we have helped to get the green card through the EB-5 process from Vietnam. And I've been coming to Vietnam since 2011 to speak to investors and meet with them about the EB-5 program.
Wow, 2007, so it's like 16 years ago.
Yes.
Oh my God. So it's a lot. So let's say you have filed like thousands or more than thousands of thousands of EB-5 cases. So do you think that based on your experience, a very big experience, do you think that what is the most challenge for Vietnamese investor to prepare the EB-5 cases?
So I think that changes over time, right? Because the market changes, certain functions change within how people can document their source of funds. I think the biggest challenge, of course, is preparing a clean source of funds that shows every step of the path of the funds from the time they were earned until they were invested. Vietnam, like many countries, often relies on cash payments. There's not always a trail. It picks up and drops off. And this is something that the USCIS is very concerned with. So we have to find a way to document it. We can do it in creative ways. Sometimes in the absence of documents, you can show that somebody made a withdrawal. They held money because they were concerned about stability in the financial institutions, and then you can show a redeposit. So it changes over time, and we have to be creative and nimble and able to adapt in the kind of documentation that we're able to show to have a successful case.
Wow. So based on your sharing, everyone can feel that you understand the Vietnamese situation very well. Yes. So can you tell us the story about how you start with EB-5?
Sure. Yeah. So in 2005, I filed my first EB-5 case. I worked at Greenberg Traurig at that time. And we had a wealthy client from Iraq. And he had an E2 visa, but he wanted to close his E2 business. He had 5 kids in the US, all in school, and he wanted to figure out a way to remain in the United States, but not work. And he could afford to do that. So I filed his EB-5 case. It was one of 61 cases filed that year, so very few people knew about EB-5. And, I also taught myself how to do it, and it was approved quickly. And so the family was able to remain. And from that, I started working with many investors who already were in the US or overseas And at that time, the market was also different. There were a lot of clients from the Middle East, from Latin America, and from Asia. Not many Vietnamese knew about the program yet.
Yeah, sure. By that time, it was very, very early. So
at that time, mostly people from South Korea were filing. So they were the biggest users of the EB-5 program around 2004, 2005. And then, the market changes all the time.
Oh, okay. So what time the EB-5 start to become kind of booming in Asia?
I would say in 2008, when we had a global sort of real estate crisis, many developers turned to EB-5. When I started filing EB-5s, there were only 4 regional centers. When 2008, when the market crashed, a lot of developers needed financing and they couldn't even get first mortgages at that time. So they found out about the EB-5 program, and a lot of projects started using it. And as they started creating EB-5 project offerings, they started marketing them and going to different places to do so. And that's really how this became a much larger program over time than it ever was.